Now, Donald Trump is not a friend to the environment or to clean energy. Now, remember, he believes that climate change is a hoax created and perpetrated by Chinese people or by the Chinese government. Now, he also repeatedly called for more drilling for oil, more fracking for natural gas, and more coal mining. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring coal jobs back." Oh, really? How are you gonna do that? How are you gonna make it profitable for coal, especially when there's a natural gas boom, especially when oil is down? I'm thinking you're not going to be able to fulfill that campaign promise. Just saying. But anyway, he also promised that his administration would drastically cut spending on renewable energy, like solar, wind, geothermal, all that shit. He's like, yeah, no, fuck you. Fossil fuels all the way, drill, baby, drill. Now, he also wanted to cut money on research. Now, what's interesting is, as I've shown you, Donald Trump's opinions are very pro-fossil fuel. However, his voters don't agree. According to a new poll released by the Republican polling firm Public Opinion Strategies. By the way, so that's a Republican polling firm. This isn't public policy polling that leans liberal. No, this is a Republican firm. Just so you doubt the veracity of this, I'm giving you the source. Now, according to this poll, 75% of Trump supporters support taking action to accelerate the development and use of clean energy in the United States. Most Trump supporters are saying, yeah, let's do some more clean energy. See, here's the thing. A lot of progressive liberal pundits miss this. Trump supporters aren't dumb. There's some very smart people in Trump who support Trump. I don't agree with them politically. It doesn't mean they're morons. No, it just means that they believe in different politics. But when it comes to the environment, progressives are actually very much in line with a great deal of Trump supporters, especially younger Trump supporters. Although there are some older Trump supporters that are also say that, yes, we do need to look out for the climate. Climate change is happening. It is real. Despite the naysayers that are using cherry-picked evidence to try to prove otherwise, no, it is a thing that is happening. It's a thing that maybe we should do something about. Look, and even if it turns out unlikely to be not real, what have we done? We've made sure that the air and the water is clean. Oh, horrible day. Horrible. Anyway, so 3/4 of Trump supporters, yes, say that we need to do something about climate change. Now, again, to a lot of people that would blow their mind. And, you know, look, I understand why. But I think that this is good news. This is good news. Now, not only that, but an overwhelming majority said that it's very important that their candidate share the opinions on energy issues. Now, that's also interesting. But apparently it doesn't seem to be important enough since Donald Trump does not share the opinion of most of his supporters on this issue. Now, Ivanka Trump is different. Ivanka Trump actually seems to believe in climate change and that we actually need to do something about it. Now, she can't actually do anything about it. And that's the other thing, and that's the thing that's sad about it. Now, I just told you in a previous segment that Donald Trump has picked Scott Pruitt to head up the EPA. He's a well-known climate denier and a fossil fuel shill. He gets hundreds of thousands of dollars from the fossil fuel industry in legal campaign bribes in order to spout bullshit about how climate change isn't real, how the science isn't settled, and oh look, he gets all this money. Funny how that works. Now, not a good thing, right? So Donald Trump voters, on the environment, he does not share your values. Instead, Donald Trump shares the values of fossil fuel corporations. He is part of the establishment. He is part of the elite. The elite is saying, no, fossil fuels are fantastic. We're going to drill in your yard. We're going to use eminent domain to do it because, again, Donald Trump is in favor of eminent domain, stealing your personal property if there's oil near your land. Or if he wants to run a pipeline through your land, he can do that. He will do that. He's not on your side. He is not somebody who shares your values. He's a flim-flam man. He's a charlatan. Now, there's more on this poll. Now, talking about renewables, right? Now, Trump voters are especially supportive of solar energy. 61% say they want to see more emphasis on solar when it comes to domestic energy policy. 56% want to see more emphasis on hydropower, and 52% want to see more emphasis on wind power, which is exactly the same as the emphasis on natural gas. Now, again, most of those positions, with the exception of natural gas, look, I'm against more natural gas fracking, so there's my position on that. You guys know this already if you've been watching for a long time. But look, he does not share those values. He doesn't agree with that. Those are not Donald Trump positions. Now, is that something that you could push him to do? Well, if you were his supporters, if you're people that voted for him, then yeah, you could theoretically push this guy into being more climate responsible. And that's what it's about, responsibility. Now, what about coal? What about coal? Well, I mean, Donald Trump, it did run on bringing back coal jobs, right? Now, he talked about the war on coal. So how do his voters feel about this? Well, just 38% are interested in seeing renewed emphasis on coal, while 26% want to see less emphasis. Now, again, I have to tell you that Donald Trump wants to defund solar, wind, geothermal, and continue to give giant subsidies to oil companies, do more natural gas fracking, and increase our emphasis on coal. That does not go along with your values. You voted for this guy, but he does not share your values on something that's a very important issue. Now, maybe he shares your values on other issues, but on this, something that is actually very important, he does not. Now, in addition to all of this, Donald Trump has promised to open federal lands for oil and gas production and rescind the federal moratorium on new coal leases in federal lands. He's also promised to spend time and money revitalizing coal country, rolling back Obama administration regulations like the Clean Power Plan, which he has blamed, of course, for the decline in coal production and jobs, which is not true. It's the glut of natural gas and low oil prices that have killed coal country. It's not regulations that have done it. It's market forces. Now, and as I mentioned, Donald Trump has, of course, proposed ending federal spending on clean energy development, which could significantly slow the growth of renewable energy sources in the United States. And as I keep pointing out, man, his voters across the country, they do not agree with his energy policy or the policies of most Republicans and some Democrats in general. In fact, a poll released in late September the same year found that conservative voters in Ohio, a state that Donald Trump carried by a wide margin, by 8 points, not only favor renewable energy, but would tell their elected officials to support renewable energy policies. There are Republicans out there, a lot of them, that believe that, hey, we've got a serious issue with climate change. And we see business opportunity in solar energy and in other renewable energy sources. Let's go with that. There are Republicans that we agree with on this issue. Because at this point, the evidence is undeniable unless you've got your head stuck in your ass. Which sadly, there's a big chunk of people that are. But not most Trump supporters. Now, another 2015 poll of voters nationwide found that 66% supported the expansion of wind, solar, and renewable energy development, and 72% strongly supported more pollution controls. And if that's what you voted for, if that's what you want, under Donald Trump, you're not going to get that. As far as I can tell, with his appointment of Scott Pruitt to the EPA, a known climate science denier and fossil fuel shill, you are not going to get any of that. In fact, you are going to get the opposite. He's going to expand fossil fuel even more. And he's going to end up setting America and the world back for decades on renewable energy. And that's decades that we do not have. We have already hit 400 ppms of carbon in the atmosphere. In the ocean, has absorbed about as much carbon from the atmosphere as it can take. We're almost out of time. And it's great that a majority of Republicans and Trump voters, especially, feel this way, that we should do something about the environment, that we should do something about pollution, that we should do something about carbon and climate change. But it's too urgent to continue to ignore and to keep voting for politicians that openly deny climate change. And yes, I understand that keeping jobs around and staying competitive is really important. But there are jobs, good paying jobs in renewable energy. And as I pointed out before, I think that if for every coal job we kill, it needs to be replaced and that coal miner retrained and given that new job. 100%. That right there needs to be a part of this conversation. What do we do for the jobs that we eliminate? We need to give these people in coal country opportunity. We need to give them these good paying jobs. Get them out of the coal mine and into making solar panels. You give them something to live for, something to do, some way to take care of their family that gives them pride and doesn't hurt the environment. And I think if you do that, that's going to be one of the things that not only helps coal country out, but also gets these people, these Republicans, these workers, these working class people on your side about actually doing something to help keep the climate in check and to keep our carbon emissions in check so that we continue to have a beautiful planet for centuries to come. Things need to change, and they need to change now, or else it's going to be too late. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation.